Welcome back to Simright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So in this class I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful sleeve, cone sleeve you are seeing right here on the thumbnail. So this sleeve, you can use it for any dress at all. Okay, you can use it for a dinner dress, you can use it for any dress at all, just to make your dress look more exaggerated and gorgeous. So in this class I'll be teaching you how to drape this sleeve, how to sew it, sew in the fringes, and how to stitch it to your dress. So as you can see right here on the thumbnail, you can see the sleeve, the cone effect, you can see it right there. So you can design this and stitch it to your dress to make your dress look more gorgeous. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, please stay tuned till the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So in this class we'll be sewing this beautiful sleeve. It's actually a stylish sleeve and it looks like a cone sleeve, but then I'll be showing you how to draft, how to sew, and how to fix this particular sleeve on the dress. So here I'm working with my lace fabric. I'm working with my my Mikado silk satin. I love to work with Mikado because Mikado looks strong, okay, for sleeves like that, like this, and gives it a good structure after it has been stayed. Now I have my fringes, so you can work with any fringe of your choice. All we want to create is the fringe you are seeing right there on the thumbnail. Then finally you need your stay. Okay, what I have here is called the peplum stay, and you can see this peplum stay has the shiny part and it also have the rough part, just like other stays. So this is the stay that will make this cone stand the way it's standing right there. So I will be using the Mikado stick for interfacing for this lace. I'll also use it to turn it as lining. So, and then we are going to stay. We can decide to stay the lining and stay the interfacing, or we can also have one stay. So whichever one will work perfectly for this cone sleeve. So to begin this, I always advise you draft. Your drafting is very important for a perfect fit. Note that what we are constructing there, we have two sleeves, but we are making one sleeve. You are going to fold your paper this way. So we'll fold our paper this way, and we are going to take our measurements. So it depends on how long you want that sleeve to be. Okay, so I always encourage, it depends on your neckline, the neckline you are making this sleeve for. But for this particular dress, I'm going to use 6.5, or let me say 7 inches on this open side. On this open side I'm using 7 inches because I really want it to go into the sleeve. So I'll use 7 inches here, while I'll use 5.5 on the clothes side. Okay, so from that side I'll keep marking 5.5. I'll start increasing it to 6. I'll start increasing it to 6.5. Then finally I'll match it up to my 7 inches. So what I'll just do now, from that 7 inches, I'll neatly, you can see what I'm doing. I'm doing this neatly to connect to the 5.5. So what do I mean here? It means that the length we have here is longer by 1.5. You can see it 7 inches, and you can see here 5.5. So you have to do that neatly. The open area will be on the shoulder part and it will be longer. Okay, so that's the design of the sleeve. So if you want to increase this sleeve, you can go ahead and increase, you know, it's all by choice. So this is what your sleeve pattern looks like, and this is the center grain line. So I just put a notch to my center grain line. Okay, so this is the center line in case you want to when we are going to sew this sleeve. So this is my sleeve pattern right now, and I'll be using this pattern now to cut my my fabric. So cutting my fabric right here, I'll come in and place my Mikado silk on fold, because I want to cut both the lining and the interfacing for the lace fabric. So I'll just place it in a way that I will catch every of it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pin because I want to cut now, adding my necessary seam allowances. So my seam allowances, I'm adding 0.5 all around. So if I'm adding 0.5, this is it. So I'll come over to the curvy parts. Alright, so I've cut and I've added my seam allowance. So I'll just go ahead now. I'm going to stay with my peplum stay right now. So I will take off my pins, but before I do that, remember this is the center grain line. I will just make my notch, okay, because that is where we are going to have the fold. So I made my notch here, and I'll also make same notch at this point. Okay, so I'll just go ahead now, take off my pattern and stay. Okay, I can stay both lining on fabric, or to stay the one piece, the one that will have the interfacing, and the lining I did not stay it. I don't want it to be too much. Okay, one stay is okay, provided they are using your peplum stay. So all I will do now is to place the lace to cover this part. So we are placing the lace right now to cover this. Then I will cut. So to place my lace, I usually use my gum to do that. I'll just lift up and touch my gum on the patches of my lace. Okay, so please, I'm doing this on the patches of the lace. I'm not doing it anyhow. Okay, if you don't do it on the patches of the lace, the gum will eventually, you know, mess up your fabric. So when you are using this gum, please be careful. This is Uhu gum. I love to use it for my work because it has been tested and proved to be a superior adhesive. So trying to make sure what I've gummed now covers the area I want to work on. Okay, So once it covers the area I want to work on, I'm good to go. All I'm going to do now is to turn it to the wrong side and trim off the excess. I'm trimming off the excess lace fabric. So I'll also place my adhesive on this part because I noticed it doesn't have much. All right, people, so I'm going now to my machine. I've cut out my the lace, and I'm making sure my adhesive sticks on it. So next is to go and sew the fringes. So this is the fringes I'm working with right now, and this is the front piece of my fringe. So I'm laying this fringe. You can see how I'm laying it. I'm laying it on the, and I'm going to sew it the way it's facing right now, okay? Because the idea is this: at the end of the day, we'll have it come out this way, okay? So because we are going to also sew this on top of it, you don't allow it face this way. This is the facing. You flip it this way, okay? It should be facing this way. So by the time I face this one, it goes. So I just want to go and sew this, okay? I'll go to my machine now. From here, I'm going to sew this on the edge at 0.5. I'm going to sew it on the edge that way, although I don't have enough of it here, okay? So if you are doing this, you have to sew to the end. So maybe I'll centralize it. That is what I will do. But I believe you understand that you have to run it from end to end. So let me just go and sew in, and I'll bring it back and place this on top. So right now I've gone ahead to sew my fringes. Like I told you, you have to face it inwards. So at the end of the day, after sewing, we have it inside, okay? So this is it, and I've sewn it round and round inside, as you can see. So the next is to bring in the lining, okay? So you can go ahead and hairstay. So I don't want to just go that long process, but make sure you hairstay the lining as well. So I will go ahead now and place notch to notch. Remember, we notched the center line. So this is my notch for the center line. I found it, and I'm going to pin at that point. I just pin it before I sew, okay? So you can decide to also pin if you can, so you'll be able to have your sewing done accordingly. So as I'm pinning, I'm bringing in the fringes inside, okay? So I'll also go ahead and pin this part, pin. Okay, so once I'm done pinning, I will turn to the back and sew from the back. Okay, so I'm sewing from the back, following my 0.5, and I'm sewing right on top of the pin. So you can see how I pinned, and I'm sewing right on top of it. Okay, so I'm doing that gently So I'll keep sewing little by little, gently. Can you see, following the already existing stitches. I'll keep sewing till I get to the end and I'll back stitch. So once I'm done now, next is to trim what I have on the edges. So I'm just taking my time, okay? I'm not rushing this sleeve, okay? So if you follow this process, please make sure you take off your pins. I'm sorry about that. So you don't so you have to take off your pins before you trim. Then you can now go ahead and trim. Okay, so I'm trimming, but you have to be careful while doing this. I'm trimming because you can see we have a peplum stay right there, and it's actually very thick, plus the fringes and all that. So if you don't trim, it might be difficult for you to turn this sleeve. Okay, so this is what you're expected to have. Then you can go ahead and turn. So it makes your turning very, very easy for you. Can you see that? So you can also top stitch if you want. I love to top stitch a lot, okay, because it helps lay. So all these seams now, I will lay it on the part of the lining, and I'll go ahead and top stitch. Okay, so I'll have my sleeve lay perfectly for me on the other side. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure I don't okay, so you just open it and top stitch as I'm doing right there, just very, very closely. So as you are top stitching, you have to be opening up your, you can see how I'm spreading it apart, okay, making sure that seam line lies on the part of the lining. You can see that. So I'll just take my time and top stitch. I'm done with it right now. So I'm done top stitching right now. So this is my top stitches right now. Okay, so I'll just flip, I'll just turn everything. Okay, so this is where the fringes are supposed to lay. Can you see that? So if you want, you can go ahead and give it a good press so it relaxes for you. This way you can just iron it from here. Okay, just take your time and iron it so it relaxes. But for the purpose of this tutorial, just go ahead believing you've understood what I did right here. So now you can sew on top of this and go and serge. You can serge this part to make it look neat, but I'll just go ahead and put it together end to end. Okay, we are putting it together end to end. Can you see? So from that part I notched, I'll put it together end to end this way, and then I'll sew right at 0.5, which was the seam allowance we added. Can you see that? So I'll close it up. So I'll sew and close it up, and then back stitch at that point. Okay, so once that is done, you can now go ahead and serge these parts. Okay, so but for me, since this is a tutorial, I'll just trim it off and turn, but you can just go ahead and serge it or weave it. So right now I've cleaned up the edges, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead and turn it to the front to form that sleeve. So I'll turn it. So right now I've turned it, so you can see this is the part we stitched, and it's on this part that we are going to have tack it to the dress. Okay, so once you are done with your dress, you just put it on the sleeve. Okay, put it on the sleeve part and tack this part and tack anywhere here. Okay, you just tack here, here on the dress. Okay, so it's not a sleeve you can sew on top. You just need to take your time and tack it. So I'll be placing it on the dress form now for you to see how it looks.